The island of Australia is a busy, bustling place. There is always lots for the engines to do. One morning, Thomas, the little blue tank engine, puffed into the station. The Fat Controller was waiting on the platform eagerly to see him. His demeanour was as steady as a ticking clock. "Good morning, Thomas. I have an important job for you."
Oh, what is it, sir?
Thomas inquired. The Fat Controller smiled, his lips curling up like the crescent moon. "You need to deliver tankers of sulphuric acid to Phosphate Hill, 140 kilometres south of Mount Isa. The mining company there needs it to process minerals."
Sulphuric acid? What is it used for, sir?
It's used to separate and clean minerals. Now be quick, Thomas. We don't want to disrupt the mining operations any further. They're struggling to maintain profitability.
Right on it, sir.
Thomas ran round to the front of the station yard and back down to the sidings to the tankers, his wheels tingling with anticipation. Thomas quickly coupled up to the tankers and set off. Thomas chugged along the tracks with a rhythm as steady as a beating heart, his tankers trailing behind like obedient ducklings following their mother. The air tasted fresh, like the morning dew on emerald grass, and the fragrance of blooming flowers mingled with the scent of rain. The distant rumble of thunder echoed through the mountains like a lion's mighty roar.
Come along, tankers. We must be on time,"
Thomas urged, his voice as gentle as a soothing lullaby. But the troublesome trucks were like mischievous imps, egging each other on with their raucous laughter. "Faster, faster! We shall race the rain, Thomas!" Thomas's eyes gleamed with determination as he tried to keep his train in check.
"Steady now! The tracks may be slippery and danger lurks around every bend."
The raindrops began to dance on the tracks, and the rails felt as slick as a sheet of ice.
"Slow down! We must not rush in these treacherous conditions,"
Thomas pleaded, but the troublesome trucks were deaf to his words. With every mile travelled, the rain intensified, painting the world in a haze of mist and mystery. As Thomas rounded a bend, he saw a section of track that had been previously ravaged by floodwaters. The floodwater had compromised the track's strength, leaving it vulnerable to the weight of Thomas and his precious cargo.
"Cinders and ashes!"
Thomas cried out.
"The track is damaged!"
Before his crew could react, disaster unfolded like a tragic opera. The train derailed with a thunderous crash, and Thomas found himself trapped like a bird with clipped wings. The tankers wailed like sirens, their cargo seeping out like a river of tears. The air turned heavy with the acrid smell of sulphuric acid. The world around Thomas seemed to stand still, frozen in time like a painting hanging on the wall. In the distance, a dam stood. The leaked acid began to seep into the dam, tainting its waters like a venomous serpent's bite. The once life-giving oasis now became a poisoned well, leaving the local farmer and his livestock in despair. Bob, Thomas's driver, looking anxious, hops out of Thomas's cab. "The acid has contaminated the dam. The farmer won't be able to use it now. This is a disaster for the community." Next day, the rain cleared up the next day. Harold the helicopter whirled onto the ground, bringing the Fat Controller to the scene. The Fat Controller arrived. His eyes surveyed the scene with a mix of disappointment and understanding. "Thomas, you're a very naughty engine. You have caused confusion and delay."
"But it wasn't my fault,"
cried Thomas anxiously.
"The flood washed away the rails."
"I understand, Thomas, but the consequences of the sulphuric acid spill are severe. It has not only disrupted the mining operations, but also contaminated the dam that was crucial for the local farmer. We need to address this situation immediately. Flash floods have cut off access to the site, making it impossible to move the tanker wagons while they're still full."
"So you aren't going to leave me here, are you?"
"I'm afraid we have no choice, Thomas. It's not safe to attempt a rescue while the waters are this treacherous. We must prioritize the safety of our crew and the surrounding community." Thomas felt the weight of his actions like a heavy burden on his heart. He yearned for a chance to turn back time, like a clock that had struck the wrong hour. Thomas sat there, stranded amidst the chaos, contemplating the true cost of recklessness. And so, the little blue tank engine learned a powerful lesson, a lesson that would forever resonate in his heart, like the echo of a whistle in the vast wilderness. He understood that every action carried consequences like ripples in a pond that spread far and wide. With newfound wisdom, Thomas vowed to be a vigilant guardian of safety. Like a lighthouse standing tall amidst the stormy seas, a ray of sunlight peeked through the clouds like a promise of hope and renewal. In the end, Thomas realized that true responsibility lay not just in delivering cargo, but in protecting the world around him like a guardian of the island of Australia, and he vowed to carry that responsibility in his heart like a treasure that could never be lost.